Hello, hello, hello. Welcome on in. It's Sunday, my dudes. It's Sunday, my dudes. What's new? What's happening? Is there news? Just dudes on Women's Month? That is an all-encompassing term. All-encompassing when I use it, at least. So my wife won't get off Poptopia. It's so good. It's just, man. It's so good. I can't stop playing it either. Though I'm not nearly as far along as a lot of my friends because they've been really they've been really playing it. I think it's been people being 10 hours in on the first day, stuff like that that just really made me feel like I was behind. But then it's also a game you don't really get behind in. You just play it, right? You just play it. Anyway, I'm gonna be playing more. I'm gonna be playing more. Apparently, Crimson Desert getting backlash for having AI art but getting fixed later on. Yeah, I mean, I'll choose to believe what they said because it's plausible. They were just like, yeah, it's like two paintings in the game. Like some of the wall art. We use that, and I remember like 5 years ago, everyone was using GenAI for art in games as temporary holders and concepting and all that. Just to have all those assets. Yeah, they were using it as placeholder art. And then the issue is some of those studios really did replace everything with whatever legit art they wanted to use in the end. Um, but then they missed a couple. That's what they're saying. And it was, from what I've seen, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've seen, it looked like it was just like two paintings legitimately. Like everything else was legitimate. And then there were just a couple that they left in, which with a game with that much world, I could believe it. Seems plausible. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt unless something else comes out that's like, crazy. Um, but yeah. Placeholder art actually looking like what it's supposed to rather than literal placeholder texture is really good for playtesting. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's not like they were using it to actually replace someone's job. They just missed a few, if what they're saying is true. Right? Because everything else in the game is done legitimately. I don't think they like didn't hire an artist because of it or something like that. So I'm like, okay. Doesn't read as evil to me. And them having a lot of other art in the game that is absolutely not AI. It's just literally those two things. Okay. You know? Benefit of the doubt from me for sure. But yeah, I saw a lot of people freaking out. And I was like, hey man, it's not even like they use it for their concept art to build everything off of. They were just like, oh, we just need some paintings in the game until we can put real paintings in later from real artists who we will hire anyway. They will get hired and paid. You know what I mean? So I was like, I don't know if this is like, I don't know if I'd be like, I trusted you, or whatever over that. Still don't like Gen AI in general. Yeah, I would just use like the ugly pink placeholder one, or I'd just go use some classical paintings or something, right? Like take an image of a classical painting and throw it in there, something really recognizable. So if I'm walking around the game and I see a painting, I'm QAing, right? And I see a painting that is just literally Starry Night, I'd be like, oh, whoops, let me change that out. You know what I mean? But I think they were just going for like, not every art style has stuff you can just for free reference like that, so I get it. But that's what I would have done, you know? Yeah, the one of Cronus eating one of his kids. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think they should all get in the habit of that. That way, if they do miss something, it's something that is public domain, right? It's probably a much easier thing because then you don't have people freaking out. Again, I understand it if it's like you're trying to generate something that is like a super unique style that you're not going to find a lot of public domain references of because it's more modern. I get it, but I'm still, not the biggest fan. I feel like there's just always a way around it. But also, a lot of games coming out now, we're using it at a time when it wasn't talked about in how bad it was. People were generally less informed anyway. So I give a little leeway. Now, if it's 5 years in the future and that's happening, then I'm going to be like, all right, you knew. Like, we all knew, right? Yeah, no one noticed back then. Pretty much no one was really understanding. Expedition 33 also used it. I'm really not against it if it's not actually replacing someone's job or stealing anything from anyone or whatever. Like, using it as a placeholder that you're going to then pay someone to replace anyway isn't really affecting the people, especially if it's not going to be seen by the public after either. So it's not like you're presenting something as your work, whatever. Then I'm like, all right. I don't like some of the other things, like the fact that you even have to generate something means you have to use resources, right? But that aside, the concept of using it for just a placeholder thing, I'm like, I've seen a lot worse uses that I'd rather bother people over than that. No, I mean, hi, Goosey. Music is so good. The music is really good. The music is great. I really like the game. I don't like, I talked about it already. I don't like the UI. And I think some of the controls are really ass. Very convoluted, but it also just gives me Black Desert, right? Because it's the same people. And if you've played Black Desert at all, a lot of that will be really familiar to you. So, So I'm against normalizing GenAI in all forms, so I'm not going to go around yelling at people about it. Yeah. Honestly, me too. Anything that you can't have it legitimately learn on its own without just copying a lot of stuff that people made legitimately, I'm just like, we don't need this. We could do without this type. Then it feels less like a helpful tool and more like a, stealing machine, right? Like, you know what I mean? But the ones where you're like, yo, organize my Post-its for me. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, it's not stealing an artist's work or something. So that I don't care about as much. It's the gen stuff where I'm like, we really don't need any of that, do we? Jeff Kaplan gave an interview about Blizzard that was interesting. So I'm looking back at what some of you said. Oh, I saw that. He's on like that retired bullshit, which is kind of nice because you can see like he doesn't have to be nice anymore. And he's really deciding to not be nice anymore. And he's speaking so candidly. And it's really refreshing because the poor guy, you just know he had to be the figurehead of some shit for a long time. So he had to be nice or say nothing about certain things or whatever. And some of the quotes from him are just so funny. So funny. It's nice to see someone be like freed. I understand being in that position where you just have to be like, smile and wave, completely understandable. I don't blame anyone for being like that. But yeah, it's just nice to hear him be able to talk about it and say, hey, here's what I was experiencing. Because for every thing you see, like someone like Jeff being able to talk about their shit later and be like, this is what actually happened, there are probably 100 other instances of people getting all the same hate that he did, but not being able to talk about it ever because they're under a forever NDA or things like that, you know? So, yeah, it's just nice to see. It's very nice to see. Also, Hallowed Houston. I'm trying to dig up a post I saw. There was a chart of nations that cared about AI and noticed a lot of Asian countries don't mind using it or are not upset with it, like it is here in the States. Yeah, that's true. Actually, a lot of my friends back in Korea, like they all use ChatGPT for so much. But the thing is, culturally, so there's you don't get to really use it in school that much. Still, so it's like people are using it a lot in daily life, but there's still overall less reliance on it. They more so use it for like translation and ideas. Like, hey, I have an idea to do this. Can you help me think outside the box and expand on new things relating to that or something, right? Like just truly using it as a tool. And there seems to be a little less reliance on it overall. I still think it could be, both over there. But from the get-go, culturally, they were like, yeah, use it for this stuff, but don't actually rely on it. And a lot of people just kind of got on board with it like that. So that's part of why they don't care about it. We'll see if that continues. This is all so early. There's so much time to go. I think you're going to see a real split of like the bad things being used in bad ways and the good things being used in good ways. And that divide is going to keep increasing, I feel. So you'll give it time. I don't really have too much judgment to pass on that. Aren't allowed to? I respect it, but how is that possibly enforced? Oh, what? Using it in school? Well, all of their testing, they can't use it. Much of their testing is still done on paper and everything. And anything where you're doing it on a device, they use school devices for the most part that don't have that stuff enabled. You don't use your own laptop, etc. And you do stuff while in the school. You don't do as much work outside of the school. Like you go to the school library and use their devices there. Depends on the school, but a lot of schools are like that. So it's a lot easier for them to control. It's very different where like in America in college, you're always using your own device and you're doing so much of your work outside of class. You could go home and do it, whatever. Depends on where you are, but in a lot of schools in Asia, there's less of that. More of what you do is physically somewhere where they can control a little more of that or whatever. But yeah. So we'll see. That's why I'm saying we'll see how much that lasts because it's, could work, could not. Being ex-corpo, do you have any crazy NDA stories you can talk about now? No, that's not how NDAs work. Non-disclosure agreements persist unless you sign a thing that says my NDA no longer exists. That's actually something that I saw so much when I left and when after that things exploded and others were leaving, whatever. So many people being like, oh, now that the company's gone, you could say whatever you want. And I was like, that's what? That's not how that works. Often NDAs have something in them that says like, if the company does not exist or if you don't exist or whatever, all blah, blah, blah. This is still the case. This is still true. This paper still persists and you can still sue each other over it or whatever, like whatever it says happens when you break it, But yeah, so also the company, as far as I know, isn't even like closed. It might be, I don't know, but I don't think it's closed. It didn't go bankrupt or whatever. I'm pretty sure it still exists. So still, you know what I mean? So I was like, eh. I can't talk about anything. I can't talk about anything that anyone else already brought up. Like if I'm not Paul Revere, pretty much anything's fair game. And I also I am not under any sort of like non-disparagement agreement. I'll say that much.
In 50 years, just
You know.
go live from your deathbed and spill the beans. What are they gonna do? Sue you in the afterlife?
Right. But yeah, I'm not under any sort of like non-disparagement or anything. So that's why like at one point you may have seen that my tone was able to shift at some point, and I mean that it was able to shift, and I was like, great, it's time, you know. So yeah. Also, spoiled fruit, you don't know that. You don't know. That's the thing. Don't say any sentences that you are not sure of. If you haven't seen their bank account, if you haven't seen contracts, just don't type things like they're real, because you don't know. You know what I mean? So in this hypothetical scenario, the company ceases to exist. Doesn't the entity who is capable of suing you also cease to exist regardless of what the contract says? You would think, but that's not how they always work. Also, anyone can just revive a company for the sake of a lawsuit. It depends on how things are exactly worded. They're all different. There are cases where, yeah, if a company goes under, then all the NDAs related to it are gone, and that just depends on if it was written to allow that or not. You know, like there's no blanket, this is how NDAs work necessarily. They're all individual pieces of paper that some lawyer has to type out and decide how this NDA is going to be structured and how it's going to work. So, you know, just because you've seen one NDA does not mean you know anything else about another NDA. All you can really look at is laws that blanket surround them. But even that, you know, a judge can rule for things to be different depending on a billion circumstances. So, yeah. But yeah, so that's why like all that situation was so messy. So I just talked about, here's what I can tell you from my perspective. And then that's it. That's all. You know, I was just like, put a pin in that. I don't know. I can't really tell any crazy stories from that time because I already told them because they were all things that came out for the most part. And then anything else would be probably like proprietary information that I shouldn't say or something, you know what I mean? Or like stuff that I think should remain behind closed doors, like this should not, like there's no point for some of these things to be like out in the open or whatever. You know. There's not really much juiciness that makes sense to talk about because I feel like a lot of the major stuff was like already out there right from the beginning. But yeah. I'm a very blue collar guy, so I didn't really have no idea how NDAs worked. Yeah, the TLDR is a company's like, I hired this programmer to make this program for me, and I don't want them leaking my code base. I don't want them getting hired by another company and just taking everything that we did and telling them exactly what we did and thus stealing our work. Like, I want to keep that under wraps. So they have a lawyer write up a paper that says you can't talk about our proprietary software that we made. You can't leak our code base. You can't describe the feature list until the product is released. You can't blah, blah, blah. And they just write up whatever they don't want discussed or the nature of things that they don't want discussed. And then your lawyer looks over and goes, yup, let's do that, or let's change this, and you sign it, right? And it could be, anything could be written on there, you know? Literally anything. So, aren't there some countries where even without NDAs, you might not say some things that are true because they can't bring it to court for affecting their reputation, or can't bring it to court for affecting their reputation? Yeah, there's slander and libel and whatever. That's the other thing, is there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people have said that's conjecture or allegations. This is why you have to say the word allegedly all the time, because you can't outright say, oh, they did this thing without having direct proof of it, right? Crazy accusations could be made. And if you have no direct proof of it, you could be, if you were doing it maliciously, you could be incredibly harmful, you know? So there's a lot of good reason for NDAs to exist too. It's to make sure that like someone doesn't accidentally say something And then now you have to sue them for slander and all this stuff, even though you like kind of wouldn't want to. You know, it's to really clean up and shore up a lot of that. But yeah, it's just allegedly is a really good word. Allegedly is a great word. But yeah, so there's a lot that I did say, but for the most part, I either said the word allegedly where I could, but I kind of only said things that were me just talking about my opinion and personal experience, right? Like a perspective sort of thing, because I didn't want to talk about anything that it was like tangential to me, not really a thing I experienced, and no one else talked about their experience. Like, yeah, I just didn't see the point in getting into the messiness there, you know? In some jurisdictions, speaking the truth doesn't protect you from slander claims. Yeah. In a weird way, NDAs can also help to protect people from themselves. It does a lot, actually, happen like that. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of good reason for NDAs. If I'm being honest with you, though, there are also a lot of people that run around in friendier, and I'm like, whoa. Whoa. I've gotten very tired of that. I've heard so much shit that I should never hear. I should never know. Never, you know, because people just say shit, and I'm like, what are you doing? And several times I'll be hanging out with someone, they just start saying something, and I'm like, stop talking. You know, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. No. There's some people I've kind of like distanced from talking to a lot because they do that, and like I really like them. I have no other problems with them, but it's a shame, you know, that they just can't stop yapping, and I'm like, ew, I'm gonna back up, you know. And then, but then people who do that also often they tend to be paranoid usually, or they just like the tea or whatever, and they tend to also spread things that aren't true because someone else told them it like it was true, so they believe that person, or they're like, I think it's true, and then they start spreading it, and stuff gets messy. I've seen people get absolutely lambasted, destroyed by the public for saying a thing, but they weren't the source of it. It was some other person yapping at them, and they just believed it because they made it really sound plausible, right? I've seen people have their careers get fucked because they told a couple of people, oh yeah, this thing about so-and-so, I'm worried, right? Just warning you about this person. They did this thing from what I've heard, and, you know, just be careful. And then that person has their career destroyed, but they weren't even the originator. The originator gets off free. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen so many scenarios like that where I'm like, oh, I'm so tired of it. It makes you really like worried to make new friends sometimes, man. It's crazy. Yeah, whisper campaign. Well, there's a lot of, you know what it usually is? A lot of people like to, I see like posts on Twitter occasionally where people are like, oh my God, this community's so terrible. Everyone hates each other. They're trying to take each other down. Like, you know, like people dooming. I really think a lot of it's good intention. From what I've seen on the back end when people are talking about someone else or saying this person did this bad thing or watch out for this guy or whatever, it's usually, from what I've heard, people saying it sounds like they're concerned, right? They're like, oh my God, I heard this thing. Just be careful. Might be true, not sure, but what I heard was blah, blah, blah. Just be careful. That's usually what I hear. I don't hear people straight up talking shit. Maybe I'm just around people that don't do that. But I don't hear people just straight up talking shit and laughing about it and being like, oh, haha, this person's a fucking asshole and I hate them, or, you know. But instead I hear people going like, yeah, you know, this person did this thing and then I heard that and it sounds plausible. So I would just, you know, approach slowly if you're going to talk to that person or something like that. It's like, I really don't hear people talking like crazy shit. It's usually that stuff, you know? And again, maybe that's just who I surround myself with. They're not so bad, but I don't know. When I see people start doing about this stuff, I'm like, who are you talking to? Anytime I hear someone talk about anyone else, it's like nice or coming from a real place of concern. Doesn't mean people don't act up a little too much. Sometimes they're concerned and they start doing too much. And I'm like, hey, it's not your problem, but, you know. Yeah, you said, can't believe that. Don't think people are generally malicious about others. Very few are. I really, most people are just speaking from, like I said, place of being worried and maybe some ignorance about a situation. They don't know someone that well, but they heard two bad things and they're like, oh yeah, just be careful. This is what I've heard, because that's all they've heard. And then someone else will hear them be like, oh, they're terrible, and hyperbolize and stuff. Such is life, such is gossip. But I truly believe like a lot of people are just well-intentioned, watching out. Everyone all knows that so much of what's being said is unconfirmed.
I need to tell chat something confidential.
Okay. Can I uncover them? No, I do get people whispering though. Did you hear that so-and-so did whatever? And my mantra for the past year has just been, who cares? Or whatever. Does this affect me? That's another one. That's a favorite one. Does this affect me? Does this affect you? Okay, right? Been doing a lot of that for the longest time. Okay. Yeah, I agree with this detective. You said, I think there's an aspect of people wanting to avoid any sense of guilt if someone does end up being a bad egg and they fail to tell or protect others by talking about it. Both in private and in public, they don't want to feel responsible. There is that. That's why, again, I think a lot of people are just well-intentioned when they're like, quote unquote, talking about somebody or quote unquote talking shit. I truly believe they're like, they heard this thing. They don't know if it's 100% true, but they believe it or they think it's plausible. And they're like, let me warn some of my friends who talk to so-and-so or with this, thing. Maybe they're in an org that they think is bad or whatever, right? And they'll just say, look, I heard this stuff. Just be careful. Do your own research, but I heard it and rumors come from somewhere. So something, right? That's what I usually hear people saying. Very reasonable, very, I almost never hear people being like, this person is terrible because I heard they did this. I always hear people trying to be careful and being like, allegedly, like saying words like that, So I don't know where some of this dooming comes from sometimes when I see people start going like, oh, everyone's so crazy. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm sure it exists. I just don't see it, I don't know. I also find that a lot of the time when someone's been like slammed online, I see people dogpiling on them and I'm like, wow, they sound like they're literally Satan. I look back and my interactions with them are usually like totally fine. Maybe some things are a little off, but like nothing actually is like bad. And then oftentimes when those people do go through that, if they do come back, they usually get a lot better because they're aware that people are waiting for them to slip up, so they don't. Not always, but most try not to. So like a lot of people are actually kind of fine when these situations are just social things, social problems that someone like, writes a Google Doc about somebody else or complains on Twitter or whatever, like usually they're not that bad. Or a lot of the time these people just have their own demons. A lot of streamers, it's very weird to navigate the space socially, and a lot of them are, to begin with, socially awkward. And they're in, like, a harder tier of social interaction in this space, right? Oil and water doesn't mix well, and they end up in bad situations, but a lot of the time I look at how these social situations occur, and I'm like, you all kind of sucked in this scenario. None of you were really high performing in the social department on all this, so I don't think any of us should really be complaining. Just talk amongst yourselves, or talk about it amongst yourselves, and figure the fuck out. Some of these folks need therapy. A lot of them just need therapy. I've just been telling people to get therapy, man. Every time people are like, so-and-so hate each other and this person said this, and I noticed this person changed their title when this other person showed up on their stream, and it's terribly like they start detectiving. I'm like, usually one or both of them just need therapy, and someone like got upset over something that like they're just personally highly bothered by, and they should just go work out with a professional. You know what I mean? Like, it's usually nothing crazy. And oftentimes these little scenarios happen, and then a little bit later the people are fine on the back end. They're fine. They're just like, we'll just keep it quiet. But then people a year later will still be posting. They'll be like, remember that stream a year ago when so and so said this? And I'm like, holy fuck, shut up. You know, everyone's so past it. Need the resub. And so you felt about the Cinder situation. It just read to me like a lot of people having making the wrong social decisions. And I don't know. I'm not a detective on that one. I didn't look like super deeply into it, and I was not really the biggest reader of the drama news, especially at that time, because it just looked tiring. But it felt like a lot of stuff where they could have just talked to each other. You know? Also, there are a lot of hard truths in there that I thought people were mad at certain things being brought up, but I was like, I think that's just a harsh truth. I don't think anyone's being mean here. I saw some people complaining that they're like, you shouldn't see anyone else as competition. And I was like, hold on. How you treat someone knowing that they are in the same space as you is very important. But you can't deny the reality that we're streaming on the same platform to the same people, and maybe some will watch one and not another. Right? Like, that's just logic. There's nothing wrong with that. You know? Now, does that mean you have to be an asshole to somebody or like try to do something crazy to take them down? No, you know? But like, you know, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging the way things work. That's okay. I saw people complaining about like that type of stuff, that type of like meta conversation about everything. And I was like, holy fuck, everyone just needs to breathe, go outside, watch who you like, you know, I don't know. I couldn't really read further when that situation happened. I read a little bit and I was like, man, I'm going to go stream, you know. I just streamed. I was like, I can't do this. I don't know, man. Because I just felt like everything I was seeing, yeah, there was like a sane adult way to handle every single thing I saw there. And I was like, okay. You know, I don't think anyone's feelings were invalid either. So that's why I didn't really like, you know, I was like, I get it. I get it from all angles here. I get it from all sides here. But man, you could just handle stuff differently. You could just communicate, right? Every situation feels like that, not just that one. Just all of them have a big measure of, man, you could have just talked. It's okay. It's okay to give things a fair shot and then it just doesn't work out. And you're like, okay, I tried and maybe I can't be friends with this person anymore. Maybe I don't want to work with them. I'll be friends, but I don't want to work with them. That's all fine. I talked about it. That's what I did with Vishojo. I talked about this before. When stuff wasn't looking good, I got a call together. I talked to some of the members, just the ones that you know, I had heard complaining about various things. I didn't want to bother everyone who was seemingly like just not really seeing much because they were just working, you know? So just grabbed some of the people that I knew had been complaining. Put out the, hey, if you want to join in for a call and just kind of like go over stuff we've been seeing and get some idea together so we can approach together, that'd be great. And so people show up and we do a little call and I spell out, okay, just aggregate from everybody. What are the complaints? What are the things that like we really need to see change on? What's the stuff like we don't have information on this that we want to know? Blah, blah, blah. And I make a big list and then I organize a call with those people and Gunrun and we sit down and I'm like, hey, and I present it. I made a document of those things. I had a whiteboard, a Figma whiteboard, FigJam. And I presented, I was like, hey, here are the major issues. Here's like the core issue and an example of each. What can we do to fix this? And then I gave him a week and I said, like, could you make a timeline? Go through each issue. And I even gave meeting notes. I said, go through each issue that we brought up. And can you like tell me how you want to address the problem? And then like a timeline or some sort of something to expect. Get a KPI, right? Like something we should watch for or a date we should watch for to know how this is going to be handled. And then I got that document back a week later and it wasn't sufficient for me. And I decided to put in my notice that I'm leaving, right? It was just like a normal communication thing. It didn't have to be super dramatic. It didn't have to be crazy. I didn't crash out on anybody. I was just like, okay, this isn't sufficient, but thank you for listening. Right? And some other people were like, I'd like to give time to let them attempt some of these solutions maybe and see where it goes. Right? But you know what? I believe that some people can achieve some of these things, maybe not others, but I'd like to see. And I was like, okay, that's cool. That's cool with me, man. This was also at the time we didn't know about the financial stuff. So for the record, none of us knew that all the money was like gone. That was before this. That was found out like in July, right? But yeah, up until that point, without that part, it was like, okay, maybe we can scrape things back together, maybe. And I just was like, I just don't like, some of these things. So I'll just go. Hope it works out. Right? And that's all. It was a quote unquote dramatic situation, but it was also handled very professionally from our end. Right? Just a little simple communication. Even if it turned out to be one of the craziest dumpster fire situations after that, wasn't trying to stir shit up or go crazy. But yeah, I see people write fan fictions online of like what was happening behind the scenes, acting like it was like some crazy shit. And everyone up allegedly was, doing corporate espionage against each other. Like some of the theories I've seen are like actually insane. I'm like, what are you saying? Like, actually, it was just me writing some notes, being like, hey, what notes do you have? What notes do you have? Okay, I'll present these. Like really normal, It's going to be a movie. Oh, man. Thank you for sitting through 50 minutes of podcasting. Look at you. I don't know, man. It's just, there was a lot of weirdness, but also a lot of people just trying to do things normally and handle things like adults. Second worst day modding. That was honestly, my biggest worry was two things. Number one, the members and the good staff members that were going to have to deal with all that shit. And then everyone's mod teams. Yeah, Blazing, I've had to reload it every time. The past week. I'll reload it right now. But everyone's mod teams having to moderate chats during that time, I felt so bad. I was like, man, I wish they could just be free from it. I considered taking like a month off when I left. I didn't. I was like, you know what? I want to keep some continuity. I had a debut coming up anyway, so I kind of couldn't unless I pushed it back. I said, you know what? I'll just do it. And then when everything else exploded, I really considered it. But I said, you know what? I think the right thing to do is to just stream, because some other people were taking time off. And I said, you know what? I really should just stream. Just chill. If we can ask, is there still any ongoing things from that situation, or has it settled as is? As far as I know, there's nothing ongoing. As far as I know, that does not mean people aren't doing anything or something. I don't know, but nothing to my knowledge. Pretty much the ending for me is likely to just be, they did talk about releasing my merch to me. It's really all I wanted was just my merch stock, so that any of you who ordered stuff and didn't get it, I want to try and get that to you if I can. So that was something I already announced this previously, but yeah, I'm just working that out. But the stuff has been moved from whatever place it was locked up in to a different warehouse. Like someone else is holding it right now. And I'm trying to make sure I can get order data, because even if I get the stuff, I need to know what goes to whom, and that I'm not sure that I can 100% get. So we're working on that. But yeah, but I like, no matter what, I should be able to get the stock because it has been moved out of that location, which is good. But yeah, that was really all I cared about. I did sign an agreement when exiting that basically it spelled out a few things, but the main gist was just, hey, I just want this merch so that no one from my community gets fucked. You know, that was really it. So yeah, so I should be able to get that, which I'm glad. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. But yeah. How long? It hasn't been a year? No. It's only March. It's only March. So it's, I can't count. I was going to say 9 months, but not even really. 8 months, yeah. You have to put tickets back in for order confirmation numbers. We're gonna do that if I get stuff that I can cross-reference it with. So I'm just, that's what I'm waiting for. That situation sucked. You should get everything you earned back. That's not how the world works, though. I mean, the reality is I still don't have any information on, like, every little thing. I don't know where each dollar went. I have no clue. I have big assumptions. I have big guesses. I have things that I'm 95% sure of, but, you know. But I can't just be like, oh yeah, this went here. So my biggest guess, that pretty much everyone also guesses, was that, like, you know, a good amount of it went to just pay for some staff that were still there as staff were dwindling. And I'm not going to go, first of all, I can't legally do this, but also morally, I'm not going to go reach into a staff member's pocket who didn't know anything and be like, actually, that $1,000 that you got paid for this one thing is mine. And then I take it, you know? People were just doing their jobs, man. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of, but it is your, yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that just does not mesh with the morality of the situation, and I'm okay with that. I'm not saying I like that, but that's reality, right? Like I always said it, like Kenzo, my former manager, was great. And I would never be like, wow, I really wish he didn't get paid for all the work he was trying to do at the end. You know? I don't think anyone feels that way. I don't think those people should be punished for things they didn't do, right? That's just kind of where I'm at. But yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just eat it, unfortunately. Yeah, and it is harder for some. Like some people make a lot less than others. So for some of us, it is harder to eat it for sure. But even so, like, you can make it work. You'll live. You know what I mean? You'll live. If anyone's gonna get paid, I'd rather be the talent. But yeah, I get it. But you're not one of us, so your opinion doesn't matter. Respectfully, with all the kindness in the world. The talent can choose if they want to do something about it or what they want to do about it. You know what I mean? So if I a talent and I'm like, you know, I'd rather like not do this thing, or I would want to do that thing, blah, blah, blah. That's all that matters. Shrug, you know? You know? I'm the number one chatter, so my opinion is the one that matters. It's true. The rank and file always gets fucked when leadership does stuff like this. And to be clear, I want to also say, like, I don't know who did what. I don't know who did what. I see a lot of people online that will again, lambast one person, two people, three people in particular, and say, this person did this, that person did that. How could they? I don't know. I have no clear vision or window into that. I was not in meetings with the executives while they're sitting around discussing what the company's doing, whatever. I was only in the ones that I was privy to. Right? I didn't even know who half the employees were the whole time. Never got the full org chart. I got shown a version of it over that winter, like when it became 2025. Maybe it might have been that January or something. I got seen that, which was after some stuff had already shifted and changed. So I don't know what it looked like before that. And it wasn't fully fleshed out, but I know a few names of who was supposed to be doing what allegedly. I don't know. Were they all actually full-time? I'm not sure. Some of them might have just been contract. I don't know. I don't know. Right? So that's why I'm not a fan of pointing fingers at specific people. Because I feel like, how do we know? How do we know? We don't have any confirmation, right? No clue. Yeah, everything is alleged. Everything is alleged. And what it would take for, like, let's say, just me personally, I can only speak from my experience really, but for me to go and find that out would be a whole process that would absolutely not be worth it for me. Absolutely not be worth it. I do not have that kind of money to do that. Straight up, I don't. I don't make millions. You know, like I do not. And you can't do it without doing a lot of other stuff that none of us would really want to do, most likely. So, CEO, CFO usually have the full picture. Well, that's the thing. Do they? Question marks. Question marks. You could say they should. But if someone was, let's say, maybe really incompetent, maybe they actually didn't know a lot because they didn't do shit or something. I don't know, right? You can't confirm any of that and just say that that's true or blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I've also worked for people who had no idea what was going on, right? So, who knows? And that's why I don't really go, oh, this person bad, this person terrible, this person that, question mark, right? I could talk about my own perspectives. That's what I talked about at the time, especially. That's it. If you're at the top and let something happen through incompetence, you're still at fault. Yes, this is true. This is true. But you may not have been the malicious one. You could have been, or you may not have been. There's no confirmation there. Someone else could have done it out of malice, or maybe everyone was just incompetent and failed, and that's just nebulous, right? I don't know. Right? And then a lot of people are like, but this should happen, that should happen, but this person should know. Okay, you can say that out till you're blue in the face, but what would you have to do to find out who knew what? You'd have to pay a more $1 billion to launch a crazy investigation and likely put your personal info on the line while doing that. And to what? To likely find out that there's just nothing to recoup anyway? I can't do that. I can't do that shit. I don't make that much. That's insane. For content. Yeah, for content. It would likely take years, too, to get through all of that. You couldn't even get the fun content out of it quickly. Right? So the TLDR is what's the point, man? Just do good stuff moving forward, right? Yeah, you said even after you know who made a call, you'd also need to find out what they knew. Yeah, it's right. It's like so many layers deep. It's just a lot. Did Sponsor Bot emerge recently, or did you have the plans while still in the company? I was already working on it, like, back then. It wasn't made then, but it was already, I was drawing up stuff, and I've been putting down the groundwork for what I'm doing now for like a year and a half minimum, Even longer than that if you're including me just building certain relationships and stuff. But I've been laying that groundwork for a very long time. And that situation did affect what the project became and what a lot of the main features and important parts of it are to me. But I had been working on it, you know, something similar to it. It's morphed a lot. But since then, you know. So that was all, it was definitely highly affected. Everything I'm doing with the current company is very highly affected by that whole situation. So that's why a lot of the stuff that I'm really working on is like making sure the tool makes it so your agencies can't obscure payments from you, right? Stuff like that I think is really, really, really important to help prevent any issue, etc. But again, I'm also not like anti-corpo, anti-agency, anti-org, anything like that. I think a lot of them do also do good work and have a place. So this also helps them. There's some that we already work with. And we just enable them to be able to do the other parts of their work that they want to do instead of wasting time on the stuff that we can just fill for them, you know? So that's been good. Are you pleased with the progress you made? Yeah. I wish I could build it faster, but I would need like $1 million. I would need $1 million. Or like 500K to like really speed it up to the extent that I would want to. But I with the team that I've got, I'm happy with where it's going so far. It's been going really well. But right now, venture capitalists enter the chat. Well, right now we don't have any outside funding or anything like that. So, yeah, if that doesn't occur, then it will happen at the pace it will happen, right? But yeah, roll into Shark Tank on an iPad. Do they still do Shark Tank? I don't watch TV anymore. I haven't watched TV, normal TV, in forever. Do they do that? I don't even know. They do? Dude. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. No, I don't want the Shark Tank investors. Respectfully. Maybe.
Interesting idea.
But probably not.
I'll give you $1 for 30% equity.
Ooh. Yay. Great. How's the aftermath for you and some members, you know, like new merch, for example? What do you mean new merch, for example? Well, I got to do my project with Mouse. That's what this outfit is from. I got to do my duo project with her still, even if it was like weirdly staggered. We didn't get to do the debuts together like we had originally planned. And the merch came out way later than we planned. W Agent Inc. for helping. But we still got to do it.
Deal, I'll take 60% equity myself.
Fuck off. Nothing for you. But, yeah, and I saw people were getting their apparel in, too. They were starting to get the sweatshirt, especially. So I saw some people posting pictures of that, which is good. Please put that in the merch channel. I want to see them. I want to see what you guys got. But yeah, people are getting that. This is all, like, heading out to them. But everyone's landed just fine, honestly. Everyone has landed just fine since then, as far as I know. Anyone I've spoken to is, like, chilling. Some people are just... They just decided to step back a little bit, take a little more of a break, go a little easier on stuff because it was just a lot. I think it was genuinely traumatizing for quite a few people. Which, you know, usually I say stuff like that, like a little more lightly. I don't say that lightly on this one. The social aspect and everything was really rough. So some people are definitely like just taking it really easy. But I'm glad to see them doing that instead of, for some people, just pushing through, streaming a lot, getting back on it is not the right answer for all of them. Some people that helps them and some it doesn't. So yeah, a lot of people just kind of chilled out a bit. Yeah. Card said, surviving without venture capital implies you make profits somehow. I wasn't aware that was possible. That's what I said when we first announced. We've been in the green, dude. Because I slowly worked on this and made sure certain things were happening that were generating profit that we could then use to then build the tool and all of that. So yeah, my shit that I'm working on has pretty much never not been profitable. I mean, you could
I'll
say
take
it wasn't when I was just
100%
putting my own
equity and sell
time in.
it back to the boss for an everything bagel peepo fat.
Oh, I would love an everything bagel right now. Oh, but yeah, I put a lot of my own time in, so you could say there's time cost for sure. But yeah, no, there's no deficit, there's no debt or something like that. We're just in the green, we're chilling. And I could turn that around and use that to pay people to help me make this shit. Right? That's the goal, is to keep it like that. You know? And hey, maybe someone comes in and goes like, here's a more $1 billion. That's cool. But I didn't want things to start off that way. Because if you start off that way before you've even finished your ideation phase, you know, you're not even like through it yet, then that money starts to change the idea. And you don't even get to do what you wanted to do initially at all, right? So I wanted it to at least get to a certain point with no outside help. So that's what I'm working on right now. But yeah. Yep. Would it be green if you paid yourself the amount of work you put into it? I think so. I work fast. You know, not to brag, but I still think it'd be all right. Yeah. Because I'm just one person also, you know? I'm just one guy. The first thing you said was, this has been working for months. That's the only reason I'm announcing. Yeah, well, people don't listen to every announcement ever, so you have to repeat yourself a lot. I've not heard about the JP members. Hope they're all well. They're all doing great. They're all doing great. I do, okay, genuinely, I do miss being in a group setting. I liked having a group. It's pretty much the only reason I joined, was to be part of a group. Not for anything else that they could offer me, honestly. So I do miss that. But it didn't feel right to come out of it and be like, oh, here's our new thing. With like, most or all the same people, and we're, you know, hitting the ground running and doing shit. Because it was just a bunch of people that were like traumatized, and a lot of people wanted to go relax. You know? It was not the time at all. At all. You know? So that, and then there was also a lot of stuff that was still like nebulous question marks that we were still figuring out, and everyone was so focused on that. I'm like, I'm not gonna be like, let's make a group, guys. Like, as they're getting out of it. That would have been kind of a crazy move, I think. I think the public would have loved it, but it's not worth doing that to the members when it's not time for them, just because like, oh, the fans would like it. Not when it's like mentally difficult, emotionally difficult, you know? Yeah, maybe group therapy would be good. Maybe we could have just done group therapy. That would have been best. Yeah, nothing else. Nothing else. Start VTubers Anonymous and everyone stands around a circle. My name's Geega. Hi, Geega. I'm going to talk to you about my scenario from my perspective today. That could have been good. What if you start an MC club? Yeah, let's all get motorcycles. Oh, yeah. Still in Girls FC? Yeah, but that's just like friends. I don't know how to describe this. That's not a content group. That was a bunch of friends dicking around who really like each other, and we still talk. We've always talked. And we made a stream team because it'd be fun to support each other. But we've never tried to treat that. The whole point when we made that was, we don't want this to be anything that in any way resembles like a corpo or a group with content expectations or anything. Yeah, it's just like a blood pact between 5 girls to be friends. That's really it, right? So that's not what I mean by group. I have friends. I'm not concerned about that. I mean more like a public-facing content group is what I miss. You know? Because I'm still friends with people from Vishoja, from the members, you know? So that's not the issue either. I don't think you need a group to be friends. It's the actual structured part that I miss. You know? Even if a group was formed again, what would it provide without actual services? It's not about what it would provide. It's about stuff I wanted to do. I don't need staff to provide shit for me. I just wanted the cohesive, like what I wanted out of it was the cohesive brand, and then being able to put forth group content together on one channel and then also breaking out into our own channels. That was what I wanted. We didn't even get to do a lot of that when we were together. They did the concert before I even joined. I mean, I watched it with them. I was in the Discord, but I wasn't even officially announced yet. So they did the concert, which was great. And then after that, there were like a couple covers that were done, maybe, very infrequently. And some collabs, which is no different than just being friends. That doesn't even, it doesn't take a group to do that. I wanted to do a lot of YouTube videos and more formal, structured events together. And it just never got done. So I didn't even get that out of it. You know what I mean? That was the thing I wanted out of it. And I got a little bit of that out of it. A little bit. I was very happy that the Nova girls, for example, when they were joining, did that video with me. I was very unhappy that I got almost no support in making it, other than JP staff were very good in helping me with giving me a translator to sit there with them while we were recording. I still had to hire my own bilingual editor. The company could not provide me one. Couldn't find one. Didn't even have a Rolodex of people for that, which was crazy. So what I wanted was that type of assistance getting it across the finish line, and didn't get it. So I still just kind of did it myself. It was all I had was like the girls' willingness to help me by being there, by participating, right? Yeah, or like the game show. I did 100% of everything for that game show. No staff did anything for that. That was just me. And then the members showing up and being willing to be part of it. Imagine if we did that and we had like company assistants to make it better, so I didn't have to spend all those hours building it. We could have just had a production engineer pressing buttons for me. Imagine how like crazy that could have been. Instead, I was pressing all the buttons and pulling all the levers while doing that. Not that I think that's crazy hard. It's just a lot to balance at the same time when you're also trying to be the host, So, yeah. You were essentially giving them free marketing. I know. I was on purpose because I wanted it to do well. I said, okay, well, if you won't do it, I'll do it myself. And then I did. And then they didn't look at that and go, wow, we should do that too, which I didn't really expect. I kind of was like, we'll see if they did, right? And then they did. And I went, oh, okay. All right. See the main YouTube channel popping off again recently? Yeah, we're posting on the main YouTube channel. What was the last video I posted? I mean, it's always going to be like rough starting a channel back up because it's kind of been dormant for a while. But I just love making videos. I've been filming some stuff for it. Yeah, I posted a video when I left. Yeah, it was 8 months ago. And then I didn't post anything for a while. I just kind of let it stay quiet for a bit. And then 2 months ago, I started posting again. Now we've had like a weekly video going. It's nice. It's nice. I'm glad. I'm filming stuff for it too. That will be, non-streamed stuff that's just made for YouTube only. So it'll be good. It'll be good. For a short while, it seemed like you and RPR would go all in on game show events. Yeah, so he was doing his game show. I did one iteration of mine. We did a Mario Kart tournament together, and we were really talking about it, but then he moved to Japan. His stuff changed up and switched up with his org. So instead of us having the same scenario to work off of, everything like got shifted. So I didn't want to like, force him to do a whole bunch of stuff when he was doing all this other shit. That bastard. No, I was really happy for him though. I was really, really happy for him. So it was fine. It was fine. Surprised so many people watch YouTube VODs. Always preferred the Twitch streams. They've always been, people watched Let's Plays for forever. Before they watched streamers, they were watching Let's Plays. Right? My VODs channel has had a lot more, people there recently, actually. which has been nice because I had us restructured a little bit, so things are done a little differently. But yeah, people have been hanging out there more, which is nice. But yeah, that's all going just fine. Yeah, Taiyaki, kind of, sort of, yeah. Kind of, sort of, yeah, Taiyaki. But what I wanted was even higher production. That's what I wanted, Taiyaki. I wanted people who are willing to put money into production. So, yes, but, you know. Yes, but. Same with Mike, and that's my streamer. It's on hiatus, but we'll come back when the time is right. Yeah, you know, with That's My Streamer, it was so good. It was so good. But it caused him so much stress. I think he wasn't even doing them that often, but for the level of production that takes, he was putting so much time into it, so many hours into it, and it was driving him insane. Mike was actually going crazy because he was also trying to do the in-person live shows with it occasionally, and that was really tough to balance with everything else he was doing. So I think I would like to see it back, but more on his terms instead of him pushing himself to, you know, do so many episodes of it and all that. I want someone to give Mike a pile of cash for That's My Streamer so badly. I think Mike has so much potential with that show. And other shows too. He could do a lot more because he has the infrastructure for it. But he's doing it all himself. He's funding it himself. I think he managed to get like one or two that were sponsored, which covered some stuff. But, you know, he needs more than that. He really does to run something like that and not be dying. I don't think Wubby ever did a game show he didn't lose a bunch of cash on. Yeah, you notice, you'll see this. A lot of streamers will go do huge events and then they'll stop and they'll go back to finding a thing that is cheap and repeatable because it's not sustainable. You just lose money doing it, but you don't gain in other ways that make it make sense. You know, it's one thing if it's a loss leader. Maybe you do your game show and you spend a bunch of money on it and don't recoup that money immediately. But then the next time you do your merch line, people all buy the merch or something, right? Like there are other ways that this could work out, but it usually just doesn't. So, you know, it just doesn't happen. So you have to just do it for the love of the game and you have to make so much money elsewhere to the point where you're okay just throwing money at a thing like that. Yeah, like Streamer Wars. Yeah, she loses money doing it. She doesn't even make anything. All she gains is a bunch of people that yell at her on Twitter. That's all she gains. You know? So it's not really like... It's not a positive for her. It takes so much of her time and money. But she does it because she just wants it to happen. You know? A lot of events are like that. She loses money, gets massive hate. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if someone would take over if she would stop doing it. Yeah, but part of the spirit of it is that people like that it is run by a streamer. And streamers, parentheses, because there are other people that kind of work on it with her. That is part of the value of it. What other streamer could you pass it to that will do a good job and even wants to? Most people that could do a good job don't want to. They're like, I'm not touching that. And the people who want to shouldn't be the ones touching it a lot of the time, right? So my guess is she probably feels obligation to keep it under herself so it doesn't go to shit. Because what if the wrong person goes, yeah, let me take up the torch, and then they, you know, it gets bad. Know what I mean? So I don't know. Cannot really think of anybody. Maybe Moist Critical. Charlie would never want to do that. No, bro is in passion project mode. That is not his passion. At all. No way. No way would Charlie ever want to do that. Him hosting would go crazy. It would go crazy, but I don't think he would want to. Is soap his passion? He's in soap mode. He's not even like, he's not doing anything with Cheeky, but Cheeky is something that was initially his passion project, but not the company. The soap itself was something that he made for himself, right? But the company is run by the people who run the company, who are not Charlie for the most part, and they're the ones that are like ultra passionate about it, and they're just kind of carrying forward his torch, and he's still involved, but a lot of that's their thing, you know? So he's still very much there, but he's not sitting there in the soap room, you know, smelling every bar of soap and being like, oh, this is my passion. I think what he does is he gets passionate about something, works on it, and then finds the right people to continue it so he can keep revisiting it, but he can go do the new thing. Right? Which is the right move when you have, like, enough money to just be retired, essentially. He's still doing the farm. I don't know. I don't really know much about the farm project thingy. I don't really know what he was doing with it. Never asked. He got to do an anime dub recently. Oh, wait, what did he do? What anime? Did he announce? Is it known? He was a cameo in Baki. Oh, shit. I love Baki. Yeah, he was free run. Great performance. Amazing. Wonderful. Yeah, similar to Markiplier in the movie. Although that movie, Iron Lung, made a lot of money, didn't it? What were the production costs? Wait, let me see. Did it make its money back? Let me see. Iron Lung movie costs. Oh, budget was just under 3 million to just over 4. That was the estimated. And it grossed over 5 million worldwide. Whoa. 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 I mean, yeah, that will go to like crew and stuff. That doesn't mean that he has 50 million in his pocket, but still, whoa. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. You think he'll do it again? Has he said like that he wants to go do another one, or has he said nothing? Horror movies historically have low budgets? Kinda, it depends. Yes, but don't know what it'll be. Okay. He said he doesn't want to be the game adaptation guy. I get that. Because I feel like if he did even one more, let's say he started with Iron Lung and then he goes, you know what? I'm going to make a movie based off of Hello, I'm Not a Human. That would actually be a really good one to make a movie off of. But let's say he wanted to do that. He would immediately, upon the second one, be the video game adaptation guy. And that would be it. So he really should do... I think something that isn't an adaptation. I think something that is straight up just his own creation is the best next move, but that's really hard. That's really hard. You know?
Do your if he made a movie out of squirrel stapler, I'd be first in line faction redeems chat.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. He had horror stories he did before Iron Lung. Yeah, I assume he would lean into that. I don't know. Iron Lung was a really good choice because there's so much you could just kind of go off of in there and do whatever you want with it. Thank you for the bits, guys. So I think his ability to write when there is not much writing in that game, you know, shows that he should be able to just make something out of thin air, honestly. He acted in the Edge of Sleep show, now on Tubi. Who's using Tubi? Who's using Tubi? I was on Amazon. Okay. I'm sure Tubi's fine. It's like I never hear it. I don't know, but I'm stuck to my computer, Andy, playing video games and watching Netflix, right? Ooh, director of the movie of the year, Outer Wilds. I think if you have the right writers, Outer Wilds could be made into one of the most amazing movies, but I don't think it ever should be. I think it should always be a playable game, and I think you need the ability to be immersed and looking through things yourself. It's one of those stories where if they write a script and they show a character discovering these things and they have to do all of the environmental storytelling in a way where you see the character discover this stuff and you go, oh my God, he just figured out whatever, instead of you doing it yourself, I think it would not be good. It would not be good. It could be amazing. No, I think it actually would work as a movie. You're saying like you think it'll only work as a game. It absolutely would work as a movie, but it's better as a game. And if you make a movie, it ruins the game. So it shouldn't be made. But if they wrote the script for it and never made it into a game and then made it into a movie, it would be amazing. It would be amazing. So there's a lot of potential there. Ooh, a Blueprints movie. No, see, a Blueprints movie could very well be made. I just think a movie would be too short of a length because there's so much in there. But I think stuff that is mystery and conspiracy, unveiling, that kind of storyline, there's a lot. Plus, Blueprints actually had mild horror vibes. Blueprints, it was one of those games where even though it was not horror-based, there were a lot of moments where you'd be playing the game and you just turn around because you just felt watched. You felt watched all the time. So yeah, something about the atmosphere was a little eerie, right? So I think it could actually make a really good long movie. I still think it should be a game, right? It's the joy of it is figuring stuff out yourself. But it could be made into something like that. It could be. I think they could do a cool movie, an animated film of the storyline that you find out going through what like his mother went through. That one cutscene was legit horror bait. Oh my God, the one where they imply you're being watched and they show a shadowy figure in the hallway. That shit was fucking, oh my God. That's my favorite thing to watch streamers go through. Thank you for the 34 months, Clumpy. When the Rumpus Room cutscenes were really, really well made. And oh man, I think someone should make a Blueprints horror mod that makes it so you actually are being watched and being followed. I think someone should make that shit nightmare fuel and make it so that the detective is there watching you, or like the government is trying to peep. I don't know. It would be so good. It would be so good. Something ducks behind corners. Yeah. Or like a little camera moves and points at you. When you can feel you're being watched, but you don't know who and where they are. That'd be so good. Because then my favorite thing is, again, watching streamers go through that part. They see that cutscene and they see the implication that like the detective could be in the doorway. And then I see them start turning around. And then for the rest of their playthrough, they'll be walking around and starting to turn. And it's so good. It's so good. Statue looks at you and you turn away. Now it's looking away. Yeah. Statue's turning to look at you, or imagine if you could hear footsteps. You know, you're walking. Everything's fine. And then you hear behind you from like right to left behind you. So it feels like it crossed a hallway and you turn and you see nothing. Dude, there's so much potential. There's so much potential. You would die. No, it'd be good. Let me see. I don't think anyone's made one, right? Blueprints horror mod. No, no one's made one. Well, there is an article just titled "Blueprints is a horror game." Actually. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then they just have screenshots of all these spooky scenes. Interesting. Interesting. I do think it is quite a spooky game. I would love if they snuck something more horror-esque in there. I don't know. I loved the music in it too. I feel like the music really opened it to being eerie like that. Is there a game that introduces horror elements super late into its game? I don't really know that there are many games that do that, because typically if you sell something as a horror game but the horror doesn't show up immediately, people will get pissed and they'll leave their 2 hours in gameplay reviews and go, "It's not even scary, nothing's happening and I fucking hate this game," and then they return it. So you'd have to disclose that and go, "Oh, nothing horror happens until later," and then people go, "I don't want to waste my time, I'll just watch a video," you know? So, so I don't know. Outer Wilds DLC. Okay, true, but that's separate DLC. And you can also, at any point in time, if you have the DLC, do the thing. So I don't know. Ocarina of Time. Oh, okay, true. Firewatch had a low-key horror vibe at the end. I liked Firewatch, but people were telling me it was the greatest story of all time. You know, I love this game. It's in my top 5. You have to play it. That's the kind of stuff I was hearing. I felt like the end was a letdown. Everything up until that had this great, like the horror vibe you're talking about, great build up. I thought it was so good. And then you get to the very end of the game and they're like, "Actually, it's all fine though. Hee hee yay." And I was like, what? It made me so mad. Because I felt like there was so much potential and it needed to be longer and to stay in that horror zone for longer. It was just lame at the end. It was good up until then, though. It built up a little slowly and then it really ramped up at one point. And I was like, "Oh my God, this ramp up is crazy. Where are we going?" And then you went nowhere. So that sucked. That sucked. Yeah, no climax. It felt like it was getting there though, you know? So I was really excited to see where it was gonna end up. And then it was like they just dumped a bucket of water on it. Just, you know, done. Slow burn start was cool, I thought. It was cool. It was very beginning was good, and then it was a little slow for a bit, and then it starts to ramp up and you're like, yes, it starts to get spooky. You're like, "Oh, what's happening?" And there was a whole conspiracy angle that I was so excited for, and then it turns out there was no conspiracy. Actually, it was just all fine. Haha, yay. Go home now. That, you know? So, I don't know. They kind of missed out on a lot of potential there. There was a lot that could have been almost Outer Wildsy for people. Spoiled. Don't care. I wouldn't spoil it at all if it were a really, really good game, but I thought it was okay. It was all right. You know what I have been getting my horror out of, though? Unironically? Marathon. I love Marathon, dude. Oh my God. My favorite thing is I keep seeing people that were hating on Marathon when it first dropped, and they were like, "This is just another extraction shooter and it's shit." It was mostly angry Destiny 2 fans. Valid, by the way. But, you know, they were just like, "It's terrible." I started playing it. Oh my God, I love that game. Has horror. It's not literally a horror game, but it feels spooky, and it gets less spooky as you play it, but they added a thing. So they have something called Cryo, which is like this part of the ship you can go into. It's a new map, basically, with some PvE elements and stuff and some really crazy loot, and it's very high difficulty, and they're making it weekend only. So this weekend, they dropped it, and people are going in, and the whole idea is you build up your loot throughout the week, and then when Cryo drops on the weekend, you go to the oh, I hope I don't lose all my stuff at the lose everything factory. And then the cryo raid is you going to the lose everything factory, right? So you go there with all the stuff you built up, no gear fear. You just go in and go crazy. And it's so fun. It's so fun. But they have a lot of spooky kind of horror elements to the designs and the way things are going. It's very dystopian. And if you play solo, you're trying to escape from people. Sometimes running is good. Sometimes stealthing and being like playing Alien Isolation is the right way to do it. Or if you play Rook and you do solos, it can be like that. And there's just this level of eeriness to the game that I really, really, really like. Yeah, the sound design's really good. It is. You become desensitized. I think you do get desensitized from the horror aspect a bit, but when you first play it for the first few hours, it's spooky. And then if you do solos, which I do a lot of solos, it's really spooky sometimes. It's really scary. But not in a you're gonna be terrified way, just in a I don't know, it just ramps up the excitement a little bit, right? So I like it. I feel like extraction shooters definitely have a tension that can't be matched. Yeah. That's what it is. It's the tension. I think Marathon really, really, really kind of nailed that down. So I've been liking it. I've been liking it a lot. And they've been adding stuff to it that really, I don't know. I feel like as they keep adding maps, it's going to get scarier and scarier, which is good. Said, but I'm not into extraction shooters. That's fair. I wasn't either. And then I played Ark and I liked it. I liked Ark a lot, but I wasn't like, oh, I love extraction shooters now because of that. I just kind of liked Ark. Now I really like Marathon. So I don't think extraction shooter as a genre is a thing to like or dislike for me. I just care about FPS. Okay, is the gunplay fun? And does it waste my time is all I care about. I don't like to separate extraction shooter from tactical shooter from this, from that too much. Because the game feel, whatever you want to call it, is what does it, not if the goal is to extract or not. Because if the goal is to extract, or if you're in a 5v5 and the goal is to kill the enemy team, I don't find that the games end up being that different, if that makes sense. So yes, there's some different in strategy, but I feel like it's not that different from playing something like Apex, right? I don't know. It doesn't have too much in common with Tarkov and all that. So, if that makes sense. But yeah, I wasn't really that into Tarkov or Hunt or any of the other extraction shooters. I played a little Tarkov. I got into Ark and liked it mostly because I didn't take it too seriously. I just played it with friends. It was good. And now Marathon, I'm just sitting there playing solos, going crazy with it. I just love it. So, it's just me. That's just me. Does Marathon being first person go a long way for you? I don't care. I don't care about first versus third, as long as it feels good to play, personally. That's really all I care about. Yeah, you're never fully smacked down to 0 after losing because of the sponsored kits. Yeah, and I find they don't waste your time with figuring out a lot of the gear stuff. They've finely tuned it so that you need to play without gear fear. You need to take stuff that you got out there. You don't get the biggest inventory ever and just loot and bank everything. So because you have to get rid of stuff, sell stuff anyway, you just take it out with you on the field, and it kind of eliminates like that weird dragon on its hoard of treasure kind of feeling that you get from other extraction shooters sometimes. So I don't know. Battlefield 6 has been fun. It's like one of the only options from the past few years. I liked 6. I didn't play a ton of it. I liked it, and I just ended up playing a lot of other shit. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't love it enough to be like, this is taking over all my time. If you're not accumulating more or better gear over time, it's basically just a buff for your next run. I mean, yeah, you go out with a kit, whatever kit you want. Maybe it's a free one. You get some stuff if you live and extract. You bring that stuff back, and you're not going to be able to hold a ton of it. You can only hold just so much. There are upgrades, but still, you can only hold just so much. So you end up taking a lot of it back out with you and turning a lot of the other stuff just into credits. And I like that. I feel like it doesn't waste your time and it allows you to just keep going out with stuff. How's a PvE? Pretty good. Cryo's really good. So I think what they're doing with trying to have you gear up throughout the week and then do the raids on the weekend is good. I like that. It's hard though if you're not very geared up. It's a little rough, so you have to play for a bit. The enemies are tough. They actually made them a little easier because people complain, but the PvE enemies can kill your ass. Which is good. You think they're a little uninteresting, but not bad? I mean, what do you want them to be? They are dudes who shoot at you. I think they're pretty good. They have that, and they have some turrets placed around. They have some creatures. They have some creatures around, like these random ass bog ticks or whatever they're called, that will come at you. Is progression similar to Ark? It's simpler. It's simpler. Ark needs you to grab a lot of really specific items. They still do that sometimes, but not too much. I felt like Ark, I was having to look up guides to know where to get an item and then having to go get that specific thing all the time. It's more like go to this map, go to this area, press this button here. That kind of stuff. More often, at least. Ark was cool because the PvE was different than just a guy shooting at you as if they're another player. I get that. I get that. Well, that's the point of stuff like Cryo, the raids. That's where they're going to add that in. So I don't want to be like, they need more enemy variety yet because they're clearly working on that. Probably map related. So I'm waiting to see on that before I fully agree with you because it clearly, game hasn't been out that long and they're like, yeah, here's our first thing. It has new PvE. And I'm like, oh, okay. I see people teaming up. I see teams that normally would kill each other teaming up to kill these things. So it's not too bad. Not too bad. I think they'll add. Yeah, I mean, part of it is story-wise, you're supposed to be going back into the ship, the marathon, and going and recovering things. And Cryo is just you doing a part of that. So I think they're just going to keep making new raids of you going into this ship, into different sections of it and trying to do these different things. And I assume that's where a lot of the really interesting enemies will be. So we'll see. But you can look at Destiny 2 for an example of what they're able to do. So we'll see. I love the map design. Feels like old Halo maps and steroids. Yeah. It definitely feels in the same genre of map design, I guess is the way to put it. I like it. I think that's part of why I'm having a lot of fun with it. For a more casual gamer, would you say Marathon's easier to pick up and put down than Ark? I think it's similar. I think Marathon so far, I don't know. It depends on how you play. I was always a full PvP player for Ark. I didn't really do the peaceful stuff. And I know a lot of you might have played it and done PvE and then you got put in lobbies where people liked PvE, but I was in the people holding W at each other and shooting at each other type lobbies. So I think Marathon has more of that energy. There's less of people wanting to work together because you don't need to. You don't get crazy loot from taking down enemies together. You get loot from raiding areas and killing people. So, yeah. But I like that. If you're playing solo, can you play without the voice chat? Oh, you can absolutely play without voice chat. A lot of people don't even use it. It's not like Ark where everyone's talking all the time. A lot of people don't talk. I've seen some really funny tweets recently of people catching other people with open mic in Marathon, not realizing that they're like that they're hot micing. And there's some crazy hot mics that people are like. It's been funny. It's just been funny. You've had some pretty friendly interactions playing solo. Yeah, I think in solo you'll find more of it. If you're playing, they just added duos. If you're playing trios, duos, you're not gonna find that. Not much. But in solo, there has been. Um, I've done that before where I've been like, hey, there's not much good here, but I can't hold this weapon. Here you go. And I give it to someone and they're like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, yo, you want to wipe the lobby? And they're like, yeah, you know. That's the thing I've been finding in solos is I find someone else who doesn't immediately try to kill me and I'm like, you want to wipe this fucking lobby? And they're like, let's go. And then we go crazy with it. That has happened, which I would say is a nice experience in solos, but for everyone else is not. So, you know, I don't know. There was a whole friendly versus non-friendly rook dynamic. Yeah. There are some people that go rook and then they just run in. They're like, I'm just here to scoop up some loot because I'm poor. Please don't hurt me. And then there are rooks that go in and they just mass murder a lobby with their knife. It's just, it is so funny. I really like playing rook. A lot of me playing solo has been me playing rook and going in there. And I love it because, you know, the lobby starts whatever time it starts. The rooks can only spawn in the last, like, however many minutes, right? So you're only spawning late into lobbies. And you can only be solo. Oh my, I love it so much. I love it so much. You go in, you find teams. You see a fight. You wait in some air vent near the fight. And as soon as it sounds like it's almost done, you just walk in and start stabbing people. My God. Unmatched. Jermoya, thank you for the 18. Unmatched gameplay, man. It's so fun. Remember when Ko found a random and he showed Ko his secret spot and then Ko told him he was streaming to 10k people? I saw that clip. Oh, that poor guy. He's like, don't tell anyone. Here's my cool spot. And then Ko is like, there's 10,000 people watching me right now. And the dude was just like, oh. Oh, I love that clip. Classic. I love the clips where one guy's screaming friendly, but the other guy's like, this ain't Arc Raiders, and proceeds to butcher everyone. I saw one this morning of the Cryo Red Wedding. So they took down the PvE enemy in Cryo together. And it was like so great. Everyone's like, yeah, we did it. Fuck yeah. Because it's really hard. And then one guy just goes demon mode and kills everyone. He's like, this is the Red Wedding. That shit was so funny. I was dying. I really like Marathon just being one of those things where you like can't trust anybody. Because I just find that fun. Oh, it's so good. It was so good. I'd be pissed if it was me. Oh, me too. But I'd be pissed and then 5 minutes later I'd be laughing, you know? It's so fun. Did you see the clip of the guy meeting his high school friend match? No. Put it in the Discord. Put it in the Discord. Let's see if I can find it. Marathon Red Wedding. Damn, if I search for it, I can't even find it. I hate you, Twitter search. I hate you. I think it's because they didn't put Marathon in it. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it ever. I found it. Cryo Archive Red Wedding Lamau. Here, hold on, I'll show you. You search a tweet word for word and you won't find it? Oh, I'm aware. I'm painfully aware. Actually, wait, can I even find it on the screen? We'll go here and then we'll go over offerings. You want to see the Cryo Red Wedding? I love this clip. Oh, it's tiny. Hold on. Moves over. Presses button. Yes. Here we go. This is an Arc Raiders crying emoji, skull emoji. We gotta stop with this. I know it's very boomer, Gen X, millennial of me, but I see this and it makes me want to tune out. personally. Look at this. This is them going to do cryo, okay? Look at that. All these people here to do cryo together. Ready? They just start shooting everyone that comes up the stairs. Ah. Look at that. And they just go through and wipe them all. They're going, oh my god. This ain't our creators. This is so funny. Yes. Guy goes, you're fucking losers. You're fucking losers. I think it's funny because you can't expect that everyone's gonna be nice. There are no rules. You just ruined the best game ever. It's such a funny line. Oh, the Marathon Redwood. I just when they throw this shit in there, this shit kills me. Just watching him shoot everyone as they come up the stairs is never not funny. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, that was the Red Wedding. Oh. Man, I love it. I love it. But the meeting went in Discord? Okay, let me see. I see it. Oh, it's a Twitch clip. Okay, okay. Hold on. Wait, so this guy met his high school friend? Hold on, pause BGM. Capture, what? Capture. No, not Spotify. A Moment to Remember is the title of the clip. Okay, okay. Can I, what the hell? Hold on, try to do it here. Okay, ready? Hello? People don't really talk that much in Marathon. Like, some do. Oh. Space. Oh! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't think I've ever... I have had that happen in other games where it's been someone that I've played other games with. And always, like, recent. But it's never been, you know, that... Yeah, are they married now? What's the fun ending to the story? Did they live happily forever after? Please tell me they did. I gotta open the offerings. Hold on, let me find them. Hold on. I gotta open these. But I hope there was a beautiful, wonderful, amazing ending to that. I assume they just squatted up or something. Or maybe not. Maybe they killed them. Both pregnant. Creator made an update about them talking shit. It was on LSF. Oh, well, there's your problem. Go to that subreddit and just block it. Just block it in your browser right now. And I'm not joking. I'll wait. I'll wait. Go block it. Get rid of it. Done. Not only is it terrible, just a terrible place, but number two, it's botted all hell. You know, a lot of the stuff that's upvoted or downvoted is affected by people that want it to be upvoted or downvoted. Is terrible. You're specifically fed stuff that people want you to be fed. Because people will have stuff upvoted because it gets them in the spotlight or someone they know in the spotlight. Terrible. So Reddit. Yeah, a lot of subreddits are. That's not just for that one. That's just in general, yeah. But yeah. Feed me the slime. I mean, back in the day, it was just people posting stuff that was like genuinely funny moments from streams. And it would be someone, you know, fucking something up on stream, slip up that was really funny or whatever. And then it very quickly became a drama and rage bait subreddit. And it became a spot that people would purposefully post other people to like make them look bad and stuff like that. And it became one of the main sources of like hate campaigns against people as well. And people eat that stuff up, you know, so it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Just block it. Yeah, one of the only times something good has come out of there as of late was Garrick's PC clip where he's building his PC on carpet, by the way. And he like touches the internals and it just goes, it's the biggest pop ever. And he's like, oh no. That clip did so well. The biggest pop you've ever heard in your life from a PC. Oh, so good. That's the kind of stuff that used to always be on there. That's the kind of stuff. But it ain't really like that no mo. It ain't like that no mo. It's a legit fail. It was it was so bad because he was doing this whole stream. He was so excited to build his new PC. He was so happy and then that shit just fried. I think it was good though because at least he got, you know, people coming in and there were some people that were like donating a little bit, giving some bits to be like, hey man, I know you gotta get a new part, so here you go. You know, I feel bad. So there's a silver lining at least, but I wish they gave him a more $1 billion instead. Hi, Odd. He was so sad off stream for days until he got the replacement parts. He was sitting in VC whinging, rightfully so. He was so upset.
Hey, can you make sure he gets these bits to help with it?
Sakura, it was forever ago. But yeah, I'll forward him the bits. I'll forward him a little something. I'll give him a little, you know, a couple of cents. He just went to go find that clip. My God, what a pop. Oh, it's clear. It's so clear on the mic. It goes, pa! I could find it. Hold on. Let me find it. Garrick's clips. There he is. That was him. Top of all time. Pop. Just listen. I'll just play it. Do you hear that pop? Ready? Just listen. He's got BGM. I'll turn off my BGM. He's got BGM going. You just hear that. Again. That pop was him just touching the side of the PC case. The pop happens and he pulls his hand away because he got fucking fried. His fingers got fried. Said like a can falling to the floor. Yeah, it was loud as hell. You can see light. There's a spark. Everything. He goes, yeah, there's a little smoke tendril as well. Little smoke tendril coming up from it. Insane. But, you know, he was on carpet. He didn't have anything to ground himself. And then, what can you do? What can you do? Let's do some offerings before. We're going to play a game today, actually. I have a few options. I was trying to figure out what to go through. But I actually have one new one that I kind of want to play. So we can talk about after this. But for now, I want to go through some offerings. If you're not familiar with them, this is when you go to the Discord. There's a chat called offerings, and you put shit in there for me to then review and give you points for or take away points for, which are going to be up there. Those are the total faction points, but it affects your individual points as a person as well. Points are pretty even, actually. Creatures and undead, both around 25, 26k, very close. And monsters are ahead a little bit this month, but not that far ahead. Not that far ahead. Don't get too comfy, okay? Don't get too comfortable. All right, let me capture this. Offerings, boom. And then, I will not be doing another offering stream. I like to do one, especially on the last Sunday of each month. I will not be doing one next weekend because I'm going to be taking time off. I'm not going to be here streaming from Wednesday through, I don't know. Maybe I'll be back next Wednesday. Maybe I'll be back Tuesday. I don't know. Maybe I'll even be back Monday. Probably not. But I'm going to take a little break because I need it. Okay. So we're not doing offerings next Sunday. So we're doing these today. So anything you send after this, then you're going to see for April. Next, you're going to say you were taking a break yesterday. I don't stream Saturdays. You'll never guess where I was. Let's see. From Tarkus. Did the initial sketch for this during the debut. Took a lot longer to clean up and build up the bravery to ink it. Inking is my worst nightmare, actually. My worst nightmare. It looks really good. Hey, big bravery points for drawing the damn snakes. You know how many people wanted to draw snakes and then gave up and went, I'll just draw the little one. Yeah, you cooked, especially inking them. That's terrifying. It came out so good, though. This shit fucks. Tarkus, I'm going to give you a solid, since it's traditional art, 280 points. 180 points for Tarkus. Thank you. Odd, here's the... Oh, no, they already got you. There's the Discord link. Next. I saw this one on Twitter. Took me a week of practicing the Gorillas art style. Totally worth it. Hope you like it. I saw a really funny Gorillas tweet. Hold on. Can I find it? It was an all-timer. I'm going to see if I can find this. Hold on. Here. This is a tweet. Ready? Guest rapper on a Gorillaz song. I've been in end since 10, kicking around a bend. My mom died of tuberculosis. I'm slipping into psychosis. Then it goes, Damon Albarn on the chorus. Ooh, flimsy Steve, where did you go? What have you seen? I love that tweet so much. Ooh, flimsy Steve. Brother. It was like, I think it was the day I saw this tweet with this art come up. I also saw that one. Just an absolute all-time best tweet. Ooh, flimsy Steve, where'd you go? What have you seen? Oh, so good. So good. Anyway, this shit good. This shit good. I like how you made me upper left guy. The first guy. I don't know the gorilla's names. You made me the guy. That's as I should be, honestly. That's right, correct, and true. I like this. This bangs. Let's do 120. 120 points. Upper left guy is Glorilla. Yeah, he got a bird for spirit. Thank you, Everkill. From Sweet Sakura. Got caught in the middle of practice and had to improvise. Where am I going with this Jello? Why am I carrying it like this? Am I gonna hit someone with it? What's the scene? Can you describe the scene here, Sakura, to me? To battle, I treat my cello like it is made of porcelain and will shatter at any moment. I have no issues with this art, but when I saw this, I went, oh! And I had a visceral reaction because I was imagining like carrying the cello behind you and not looking at it and potentially dragging it around. And it just like, I had this, I got goosebumps instantly. I was like, ugh! You know, nothing wrong with the art though. I just pictured this and went, oh, because I really treat my cello like it's going to break at any moment, you know. You were practicing and got caught out. You think I'd ever get caught out? A player character came into the boss arena and you were not ready? You ever think I'm not ready? Ooh, I don't know. With the added description might change how I feel about this. Oof, I don't know. Dare I say that is heresy. That is heresy. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I do like that you drew the head, the scroll, as a snake head. In some really old cellos, they do it as a lion's head, things like that. On really old ones. And then the F-holes as well. You drew them as snakes. I like that. Rare opportunity to make the end pin a snake, but you did not. Noticing that. I think no issues with the art. No issues with the art. I'm gonna give 100 points for the art. However, for the additional heresy, we're gonna go with a -30. -30 off the record. Just kidding. On the record. Directly. Everyone knows about it. Everyone knows about it forever. How long have you been playing cello? I don't know. A long time, since I was a wee bab. Ending it. It's time. Next. Albort Whisker. Did you like Alec Whiskers in Resident Evil 9? You like that dude? I recently learned that there's a faction of women who are into Wesker rather than Leon, and they fight about how he's better than Leon or something. Why can't you just be like, oh my god, 2 cakes, you know? Why do we have to pick one? They're fictional characters. You can have all of them. You can have literally all of them. At least they aren't fighting over Chris. I don't think anyone wants to fight over Chris. Chris is like, please. Please, Leon, please have a child with my sister, please. Yeah. Please. Because he can't. I need the Redfield line to go on. the bloodline. Anyway, I like this art. Let's do... Is he drooling? Lol. Go take a look at Boris in the corner right there and tell me what you see. Use your eyes and tell me what you see. ABD, always be drooling. Okay? Always be drooling. That's what he always says. For Albort Wesker, let's do 120. 120 points. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Next. From Mary Chan Kikoyo. We got some fan art. I saw this on Twitter. I think I retweeted this one. Yeah, I did. I like this one. A lot of people are very afraid to draw this outfit because they're worried about the snakes. This individual was very brave and drew the snake. I like how you put the flowers in here as well, because that was something. Actually, one of the iterations of the outfit was going to have those as the pattern, and I said I like this, and it does. They use this flower to represent the yokai realm, especially in Neo 2. You see a lot of these around. But we didn't end up putting them on the outfit. We ended up changing. Well, there's like a reference to that, but we ended up changing the pattern to be very like snake oriented. So I like that they included that, because that was kind of something we were initially going to do. We were initially thinking of, So I like it, and it came out really nice. I like the two poses. You cooked. So let's do. How about, we'll do 180 for this one. 180. Thank you. Was the rose in the mouth always there? What rose and what, since when? The art is here. This is the only occurrence of the art. I was not aware there was a timeline. This is from Kat. Ready? I'll voice it. Hey, puts hand on shoulder. You'll be all right. This is my favorite bit. It's not even. There's no depth to this bit. There's nothing special here. But every time I talk to Garrick, we can't stop just going, "Hey, man," puts hand on shoulder. You got this. And leaving these really, really, really uncomfortably long pauses in the middle. It's just my favorite. And I think at this point, it's not a bit so much as it is just a verbal stim. We're just stimming all the time. Hey, little guy. Yeah. Hey, man. We can't stop doing it. It's so good. And I love the cat always draws this stupid shit that we talk about on stream. It's so good. Cat, I love this. We're giving this 160 points. You're getting a lot. Thank you, Cat. Next. Dog picture as offering. Let me tell you something. No fucking pet pics in the offerings channel. Okay? Go to the offerings channel, click on it, because if I allow this, we're going to get 20 cat pics per, and I'm going to have to sit here and pretend I want to see 20 cat pics in a row on stream every Sunday. I don't. I look at those on my own time. Okay? Open the description. And it tells you what we generally want. It says nothing off topic. If it's too off topic, we don't want it. But also, yeah, there's a pets channel. No points. Hold on, I clicked the next one. No points, but you're new. So I will not take away points because you just got here. You just got here. Your dog is cute, though. Put her in the pets channel. I like her. From Meowsers. Whip. It's a whip. Distributing the holy smoke. You know, we were going to have on this thing, I'll show it, this thing. Originally, we were going to rig a ton of smoke coming out of it, or maybe a toggle so that smoke could come out of the top. But it was so complex, and drawing the art for it and getting it to look right was going to take a lot of time and money. And I said, you know what? No one's going to see it anyway, because when I stream, I'm like this most of the time. You know, I chat and I go here, and then I go, yeah. So I said, you know what? It's enough that we have the fire and the demonic text scrolling and all that. I think that's still a lot. It also has its own lighting effects set on it. Like, you know, we're good. We're good. But I like in drawings. A lot of people draw on the smoke. I like it. The holy smoke. The holy smoke. You know, interesting timing, because last night I was reading a bunch of papers from the Second Vatican Council. Because I just wanted to. Late at night, I said, I want to read something, but I don't know what to read. So I ended up just kind of looking over a bunch of the documents they wrote during the council, and I was just kind of going through it. I think it is casual reading, to be honest. It's just interesting because it gets into philosophy and how to apply that to large swaths of people. It's genuinely, I think it's a good read to go through some of those. Some of the papers are more sterile than others, but others are nice reads. Do recommend. So it's just funny timing. Funny timing that this was the holy smoke. But yeah. Anyway, I like it. First audiobook from you. I would love to read stuff like that, but I feel like if I have audiobooks of me reading out Catholic doctrine and all this sort of stuff, people are going to think that I am some sort of preacher. I don't even believe in a lot of the things the church teaches. I'm especially like not actually religious. I'm not a faithful person like that. I'm just very respectful of the tradition, and I culturally would say I'm kind of Catholic. Culturally, like as in traditions and stuff. I like religion as an area of study because I like reading about multiple, not just Catholicism. That's just the one that I know the best, right? But I really like reading about these things and reading works from high-level people in the past in different churches and faiths and things, because I find their writing tends to be very interesting. So there's a lot of that. But yeah, I myself am not actually religious. I'm really not. So I feel like I'd love to read this stuff, but then you'd be like, something, the Lord, in my voice. And it'd be a little, you know. I gotta do something else first and then have that on the side. Hi, kitty. Hi, kitty. Hi. But yeah, I like this. I want to give a solid, so it's a whip. It's a whip. Let's do 100. Let's do 100 points. Thank you very much. Crazy you're saying this with this model. Oh, well, this model is absolutely something that the church would not like. They don't want anyone pretending to wear a habit or any sort of religious-esque garb, holding a censer or whatever, if they're not actually the person who should be using it. So it's not ironic at all, actually. They wouldn't like it. So me as a faithless person, it does make sense. I just like it aesthetically, you know? Could always read LGBT furry smut to balance it out. Yeah. Gotta be something like that. Gotta be something like that. And then that is the end of those. That is the end of those. We went over some earlier in the month, so there weren't too many. Thank you all for all the stuff you've given. Enjoy your points. A reminder that if you yourself end up getting a lot of points, you get all the extra good tier 3 sub benefits in the server without having to have a tier 3 sub. So do give stuff if you want to get there. Participation is also very, very, very good for individual points. And Viking, thank you for the 36 months. Can we get a reading medical paper stream? I really want to read something about, there's a math related thing that I wanted to read out. And I was practicing it because I wanted to, I was practicing voicing different things. And one of them was like, what about like medical commercials? What about medical commercials, right? That's something that they actually need a lot of voice work for. Or medical educational videos. And you have to sit there and read all these very annoying to read words out loud and everything. So I was actually like practicing something like that. Reading off the sides of medicine bottles and things just to practice all of that. And man, that one is very mind numbing, very mind numbing. It would be one thing if it were an area of interest that you're actively studying and you're reading it out, not so bad. But when it's just going through and trying to accurately deliver the main points on a bottle because that's what the commercial would need, that is so mind-numbing. But it's what you have to be able to do, you know? Still experience also where I hear VAs get actually get money. Yeah, commercials are what pay more than anything. You know, anyone who voices in like anime and stuff, anime pays the least. They pay fucking peanuts in comparison to commercial work. Those people don't make money from their VA work very much. They make money by going to conventions and appearing and having fans buy posters and stuff like that and like support them there. So they do a lot of follow-up fan event work, and that's what makes them the money. But a lot of the hourly pay you get for voicing in an anime is just not good. Games are a step up sometimes. Sometimes not, depends. And then when you're in an actual show or series, that's when it starts to get really good. But there's so few of those roles, and then commercials are where it's at. Commercials are the spot. But yeah, so it's tough. Waiting for Sayu to dominate the TV commercials. Well, he does his work so quickly, and he does a lot of games. He does a lot of games, which is good. But yeah, the anime scene is just not the highest paying. So you do it for the love of the game. You do also do it for some money. It's not like they pay you $0. You're not literally making nothing, but they just don't have those budgets because it's usually localization. They already spent the big budget on the OG JP voice actors. So it's not like they're going to spend that high of a budget again for every other language. You know, like there's a reason for it. It's not just because they're cheaping out or something. Because genuinely, like, it's just, oh, you want to dub in Spanish? You want to dub in English? You want to dub in this? Okay. Every time you have to pay all these new VAs. So yeah, when it's localized, it's less. It's a lot less. Okay. We have some options. And I could open games that we've already played and get on them and continue them. Or I could do something new. So I could continue. I could play a little more Slay the Spire 2, Poptopia, hop on the Kaplan server, Monster Hunter Stories 3, that kind of stuff. Could also play Marathon. I don't really play Marathon on stream. I don't want to do it today, but I don't want to do it today. I played yesterday like a crazy amount. I'm good. But I also wanted to try Sword of the Sea because that game was released last summer, so not even a year ago. It was really highly rated. Did not have a lot of reviews. It had some, but it was really well rated. And it was it won a Grammy for the soundtrack. The soundtrack of that game won a Grammy, which I did not know. And I was like, what the fuck? It won a Grammy and people still were not playing it constantly? What do you mean? What do you mean? So I kind of wanted to play that one. I think it was the Journey team, I think. I didn't want to play it on my old PC because it's pretty visual heavy and I wanted it to look nice, you know? But yeah, now that I have the new PC... Yeah, and it is short, is what people were saying. I don't know if it would be a 1 or 2 streamer, but we'll see. There's Grammys for games. Grammys go over every genre, and it's like a game soundtrack is an OST. That could go up next to a movie soundtrack, right? There's no... huge difference necessarily. There's some, but not enough. You know, there's a lot of Grammys. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge to be able to say that your soundtrack got a Grammy. So I was like, you know what? I really gotta play this game. I really gotta play this game. Yeah, Austin Wintory. That was the guy who composed it. Okay, let me open it. I believe it plays a lot like something like Journey. Pause might be jammed, from what I understand. Sword of the Sea. Seas. Sea. Okay, and then I need to make this... Oh, hold on. It needs to go to full screen properly. Hold on. Graphics resolution's a little fucked up. There we go. Full screen off, please. Oh, can I full screen it if I don't? Oh, I have to do full screen on to get it to this aspect ratio. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Apply. Okay. It's doing its best. Photo mode, audio. Feels a little quiet to me. Maybe not that quiet.